winter season right now, I chose the seasonal veggies, preferably local. They're soaked already, so they're very flexible and very juicy. So I don't have to do anything with them, but just add them to my blender or food processor. I have my blender with me today, so I'm using my Vitamix. If you really like smoothies, soups, and want to keep it raw and eat more raw, I totally recommend to get one blender, or especially the Vitamix, because the Vitamix is super powerful. You can control it. So if you have like chunky stuff you add, which I will do right now with the tomato sauce, you can really control and see, because you can take off this one or look through if it's working, if it needs more liquid or what's happening. So I really like that. I mean, I got told to choose which blender you like is like what car you have. I don't have a car, I don't have a driver's license, that's why I said I got told. So the Blendtec, which we have in the kitchen, is automatic, thank you. And this one is more like you control it. So it's like a car. If you like automatic, you may choose the Blendtec. If you like manual, you choose the Vitamix. So I don't know, so if I want to get a car, I know which car I have to get. Yeah, and so I will demonstrate that. So this is so easy, like pretty much like the pizza crust. I like recipes where you throw everything together and then just do whatever you need to do with that. And the tomato sauce is like that. So I have the water, which the recipe says, like the soaping water, which is 400 milliliter. It's already in here. So I add it together. And this is very beneficial if you use the soaping water. Because I could have said, soak the tomatoes, throw away the water and take some filtered water. But no, I take the filtered water, soak my tomatoes, and then use the water that is there. So I already know how much water I will need for my tomato sauce, which we always not always know, right? Sometimes we need more or less. But still, try with, I'm talking about veggies and fruits, try to use the water. Nuts and seeds, it's another story, because I had another class in November, and there I talked about nuts and seeds that are soaked and then sprouted. So it's every water from, you can't use water from every nut or every seed, because it really depends what it is, because it has enzyme inhibitors or any inhibitors in the nuts and seeds, so you may be very careful with that. But you can check that online, how to sprout, how to soak, how to drain, how many days. So it's very easy, and you find all the information online. So yeah, and then because the minerals of nuts and seeds go into the water, and the same with sun-dried tomatoes, dried fruits. So you really want to use that either right into the first thing you do, or add it to your smoothie, add it to your soup, wherever you want, but don't throw it away. Okay, here are the dates soaked in the soaking water. Red onions. And some oregano. We just don't feel like go completely raw for one day, or maybe we just feel exactly like that and we have a leftover for the next day where you want to have some cooked food. So we can still use raw foods we just prepared or have always into our cooked food we have throughout the day, which I actually totally recommend, especially if we just eat a regular diet. Always have something raw, be it some veggie sticks, some fruit in the morning, like every day having something raw, and especially every meal. Because every meal, it's like when you have your food in your stomach and you add the raw veggies or salad or fruit. But in the beginning, we don't want to miss the variety we had before. So pesto always gives you like something special to your food, to your main dishes, or even just appetizers. Sometimes I just like even to dip in with some raw veggies. Again, hemp seeds, very high in all minerals and vitamins and zinc. Complete food. Can't repeat that enough times. And usually you make it with pine nuts, like the original recipe, right? But you can use any other nut. That's something I want to point out. So if you don't have hemp seeds, if you don't want hemp seeds, no matter what reason, just take any other nut or any other seed and replace it with the amount that I stated for the hemp seeds and make your own pesto. So be creative. For the pesto, I will use again the food processor. In the blender, you could make it in a blender, but I would go very carefully because I like my pesto sort of chunky, not too chunky, but not pureed. And from my point of view, that's not a pesto. It's more like a pesto sauce you can add for your soup or wherever you want, even with your pasta. But the pesto, original pesto, is slightly chunky. And yeah, I'm half Italian, so I have had that a few times, and I really do it still the original way, except that I'm not using cheese, I'm not using pine nuts. I preferably use hemp seeds. I sometimes use pine nuts, there's nothing wrong about it. It's just I like the hemps to point them out with the protein and all the nutritional value. So my cheese substitute is nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is a flaky, cheesy substitute, and it really tastes cheesy, like very cheese flavor. And it has some kind of salty a little bit, so that's why I don't add that much salt for my pesto. And anywhere you want to put it, like instead of Parmesan on top of your pasta, like I said, cooked food, you add that, or maybe you have some raw pasta made of zucchini and marinated in your tomato sauce, and add some nutritional yeast. That's very simple. So yeah, this recipe is, like I said, like the tomato sauce, very simple. Add everything in here. So we add, except of the nutritional yeast, so leave that apart. So add the salt. So I will chop up all of the basil I have here. This is organic basil. Again, organic, best choice. No chemicals, nothing, just pure raw food. So you don't have to chop it like very thin, I just chop it very roughly. And I try to take some of the stems. In the high-end cuisine, you like to get rid of the stems. I actually like to use them because it's just waste if you don't, like it's a waste if you don't use them. Of course, some of them are very hard, so I don't go too far on the bottom. So here it's like pretty juicy. So I take these little ones. Yeah, by actually the way of when you deal with raw foods and raw recipes, you learn a lot about sustainability, about how to make the best out of your food that you have, the ingredients you're having, like using most of it and not being so wasteful, especially because it's raw and it just tastes super good, and actually especially because it's organic, so it has full flavor and you just like to eat them, yeah. Hemp seeds, garlic, very antiseptic. So if you have some savory dishes you're making, try to add garlic and onions a little bit. If you like it a lot, add as much as you want because it's very, very healthy for you, and it really gets rid of toxins. And that's another issue about raw food, about the raw vegan diet, that when you eat a lot of raw foods, you get rid of toxins, things your body doesn't need, like waste, be it fat, whatever it is, you get rid of it. And garlic and onions, they really support that in a nice way. But I know not everyone likes garlic. I'm not a huge fan of garlic and onion, but I try to have it wherever I can. So a little bit is better than nothing. Some pepper. And loosen it.